Hi there. I want to talk to you about the Pathways Guidebook. It was designed to save you the time, energy, and money that it cost me over the last 3 years in my venture to care for my parents, in particular my mother. And I found that there really was no one-stop shop to go to, but I realized that there was a lot of information, in fact, almost too much information. I didn't quite know which direction to take. So over the last 3 years, what I've done is I've aggregated or compiled information so that you can go directly to some of the very best resources that will help you understand the disease that your loved one has been diagnosed with and how to manage that disease. And also along the way, I want you to learn how to take care of yourself, because self-care is also very critical. Remember, if you're not in great condition, if you're not taking good care of yourself, if you're not allowing time for yourself, you may not be there for that person who most needs you, the person afflicted with either Alzheimer's or a form of dementia. As you go through this particular guidebook, we're going to talk about a range of subjects. What are the dementias? A lot more about Alzheimer's in particular, how you can do some diagnosis at home to get an idea of what might be going on with your loved one. And then we'll talk about communications, medications, resources that, again, can simplify your life. So let's get started. I'd like to tell you a little bit about an Alzheimer's disease Bill of Rights. And you're going to find this page in our book. Take a look at it, go through it, and think about how really practical all of these points are. It's to be informed about the diagnosis of your loved one. Well, that makes a lot of sense. We want to talk about not treating your loved one like a child, because they're not a child and emotions are very sensitive to them. They're actually at a pitched level. We want you to look at taking all of their feelings seriously. They are losing their memory, but they're not losing their feelings, and their emotions are very strong. Several more points in our Alzheimer's disease Bill of Rights, so take a good look at that. I think you're going to find it very valuable. As we get into our book, we're going to take a really close look at dementias. You know, Alzheimer's is such a negative word to people because, let's be honest, this is a fatal disease. Right now, we don't have a cure for Alzheimer's or most forms of dementia. What we do have are medications that can slow the progression, but eventually the medications cease to be productive as well. So a lot of times people will not acknowledge their loved one has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's because that sounds like the awful disease. So they say, oh no, my loved one has dementia. They don't have Alzheimer's. Well, what are dementias? Dementia is really the umbrella term. Let's use the analogy of cancer. Someone tells you that they've been diagnosed with cancer. Your first question is going to be, what type of cancer do you have? The same thing is true with dementia. Do you have vascular dementia, perhaps Huntington's? Is this dementia part of Parkinson's? All right, there are several different areas in there that we can cover. And that's exactly what we're going to do in this chapter called Dementias. I want you to be familiar with them because this will make a big difference in how you manage your loved one's condition. And within this book, I've also given you a very great resource. It takes you to the National Institute of Health website, and I've given you the actual links to every type of dementia that we have on record, and it's going to tell you all about that particular form of dementia, and then some of the great resources on how to go forward with it. So be sure and go through that in this particular chapter. Next, we're going to take a look at, okay, you've read all of this, maybe it is Alzheimer's. Well, how do you know it's Alzheimer's? We have a whole section here called diagnosing. And these are actually programs and tests that you can do at home, in the privacy of your home, in your comfort level. Some of them I'm going to suggest you take yourself as an evaluation to where you think your loved one is. And I'm going to encourage you to invite your loved one to participate also. Remember, you're on this journey together. Your loved one may have the disease, but it's really a disease that truly affects your family. So the more you can work together and do this in concert, the better off you all will be. One of the exams that you're going to take don't be frightened by the word exam, but one of the tests you're going to take is called the Mini Mental State Exam. This will probably take about 5 to 10 minutes to do, and I'm going to walk you through the whole process right here in this book. There are symptom screeners that you can use, there are 3-word recalls, and there's the clock draw test. I've included that clock designed for you right here. It's very simple, but what is really going to help you is what your loved one fills in on this form. And I've given you all the instructions on how to do it. This will be an eye-opener for you as much as it will be for your loved one. And when you get over the fear of what this disease is and embrace what you can do to enhance your lives, you're already going to be walking a better path. Now let's just jump ahead and let's assume that your loved one does in fact have Alzheimer's. There's a wide range of stages for Alzheimer's disease, which is exactly why it can last for so many years. As I mentioned earlier, this disease can last 7 to 20 years. And I'm going to take you through, in this book, all the stages. What you might expect to see happen within the first 2 to 4 years. And as it progresses into more what we call middle stages, and those can easily last upwards of 10 years. That's the longest stage. Again, I'm going to reiterate that this is a slow, progressive disease. You might not even notice a lot of the changes happening within your loved one's behavior because you're with them all the time. It's when you step away or your children come to visit and they haven't seen your loved one for a while, they notice these changes in a more startling way. If you raised any children, a good way to think about it is someone would come who hasn't seen Susie in 6 months and says, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe how much they've grown or how much more mature they are." They notice things that you don't because you're with them every day. And that's true about this disease. It's going to progress at a very slow pace. Beyond the middle stage is the obvious. We have the latter stage or the last stage, which could be 1 to 3 years. And I want to also let you know as you're going through all of these notes in this file here, you can have overlapping stages. So this is not going to be an absolute concrete situation. They may be exhibiting a little bit at the end of stage 1 as they're going into stage 2. It doesn't cut off and move along at that point. But it's very important to understand where all of these different stages are and what that can then mean to your life as you're caring for your loved one. Also in this chapter, I've included a really inspirational prayer. It's called the Alzheimer's Prayer. And I've even designed it to be very beautiful, so you might want to frame it. Make some copies of it. Give it to your friends and your family members. Have them think about it on a regular basis. And basically what it talks about is that your loved one is saying to you, "Look, I didn't really choose to be this way. I'm confused beyond your ability to comprehend it, but I need you to be there to support me. I'm going to try to do everything I can, but be there to support me when I can't, because you're the person that I'm depending on the most, and love me until the end." So encourage you to take a look at this. I have found for myself and all of my clients and people in my support groups, this particular prayer gives them a great deal of comfort. It's not to give you sadness. It really will bring you comfort. I hope you're going to find a lot of information in this chapter and all of these sections within this first grouping. But I'm also going to invite you to read a lot of books. You will find information about different books to read. Read those books, and as you go through that, if you still have other questions and you'd like some additional one-on-one time with me, it'll be my pleasure, my honor to work with you. Go to our website, www.dementiahelpcenter.com, and just click on one-to-one. That'll give you both my direct email and my phone number. I'll look forward to helping you.